Hello people, welcome to a nighttime mixing tutorial with your boy, here to go over his cover of Bleed and all the tones. This cover was so fucking difficult, oh my god. You know when you think you know a song because you know it front to back from listening to it for years, then you know it's hard, so but you go play and like, I know how this shit goes. You don't know how this shit goes, okay? I was fucked up, like major fucked up. Christ. This song made me grow as a guitar player. Let's discuss the tones on the cover, shall we? So, mastering off. For some reason today, I can't turn on the master limiter. It's being fucking too much for the CPU. Excuse the loudness. It was just so you would hear it crap up. Because it's fucking crapping up today. I don't know what to tell you. Alright. The drum sound today, mastering off, is a plugin I am testing, and that might be it actually, because this drum plugin might not be CPU optimized. And when I can tell you what it is, it will be down in the description. But we're going to be turning these drums that come out of the plugin these processed, they're pretty pre-processed, but actually kind of raw sounding drums, and we're gonna pump it up to this level. No, turn on every plugin. So this is an interesting sound of very much a tighter, more focused sound than what I'm used to doing with very big rooms that didn't match this song because it's very fast, and the big room sounds, if I put them here, is going to sound like... So this is a very tight, focused approach to drums. And let's start with the kick. Fucking loads of plugins on kick drum today. Let's listen to the kick drum unprocessed. There's a problem with this kick, and I've reported it to the owner since I'm testing this. The kick drum is a little bit on the left side. You can see it here too. So firstly, I like to EQ my kick drum, and I've adjusted the balance here. So you can see that I turn it down 2.7 decibels on the left channel. So not only am I EQing it, I'm putting it back in the center, which is funny. So the kick and snare will have this philosophy where I will EQ it, then compress it, and then smash it with limiters, and then give it back some flavor after the smashing. So the pre-EQ is going to be something like this. There's some boosting of the good bass frequencies at 60 Hertz, and the mid-range that I want to clap the hardest at 1K. So those regions. And the cuts, there's a cut on a harsh attacky frequency at 4.8K. And these mid-range cuts at 200 and 400 are just woofy shit. After that, the SSL EQ is just a different flavor of EQ with a little bit of saturation that runs through the plugin that immediately makes it just a bit thicker in the low end too, so consider that. Also consider this high-end boost, which is the main thing, again at 1.5K. You can hear it get fatter and brighter. Today's compressor of choice will mostly be Drumforge comp, and I'll just flip through different modes. This is very easy. as you don't have to define attack and release. It just has different modes for each drum. And vibe, so you can have it soft, medium, and hard. I usually like a hard on everything. If I'm gonna compress it, I'm gonna compress it hard. Hey. But on here's some considerations. So on kick drum, the mix is at 50%, because you can hear the full wet sound is very slappy, snappy, but it loses low end. And the dry is very pleasantly bassy. I want it right in the middle of that. After this nice kick drum sound is there, I limit it, so I cut a little bit out of the attack so that I can pump the rest of the drum up. That would be the exaggeration of it, so you can see what it is. And then, since this is now a very static kick drum, I put it back to life with bass synthesis, so bass generation at around 60 hertz. Super thick, and then EQ to perfection. This was something I did like the last move of the mix, because it was very, very boomy in that 100 hertz area. Further scooping and a little bit of click, that is my kick. Snare has so many plugins. I had a hard time with this snare. I need to try again. I kind of like the result I got, but it's too complicated. Too fucking complicated. Because from this, which is far from my ideal start point, I just like the decay on it. We're going to be getting to this. But it's going to be through many, many different layers. So the first thing is pre-EQ. It's just the way I did on kick drum. Boosting the good attack on the mid-range. 1K has that snap I am looking for in this snare drum in particular. Let's move to the part where it goes. Yeah. 175 is the low end attack. Stupid mid-range at 300 and 700. As well as harshness at 5K that I cut into the SSL for the saturation that it gives. So instant thickness, just a little bit. As well as the high-end boost. So, oh, fucking, like 2 dB of, I hate this plugin, don't move, I want to read it. 2 dB of a shelf at around 2K, so that's extra snap. Removing a little bit of 3K because of harshness, and boosting once again a little bit of 180. So this is going to make it very lush. Not very, but just a bit more. DF comp again. On the snare mode, I like to hit it medium, because medium gives it a very nice attack. And I must have copied this over from the kick, and it was at 50. Although I do like to blend in the mix, actually. If your compressor has a mix knob, you should play with it. I thought the compressor wasn't giving me the attack I wanted it to give, so I put on Trans X. This is a transient designer that's only adding transient information to the high end above 3K. Big difference. Soft, hard. Very big difference. It's now I can slam it into the limiter. It becomes nice and loud, and now we bring it back to life after the limiter killed the dynamics. So we generate some bass again with Magic R bass. It's like an EQ, but better. So thin, thick, easy thickness. You can see how I struggled to get something I liked. Big mid-range cut, nice high-end brightness, and It's just giving it more smiley face. I didn't like where it was sitting. What can I tell you? Like, I don't even need to tell you what these are. Like, this one is a cool trick though. This is how I kill the ring on a snare. If I want to kill the ring on a snare and I do this, sure, the ring is gone, but it sounds stupid. It sounds kind of hollow. So you can do it with a dynamic EQ. You select the ring and you give it some attack on that band so that it only reacts 100 milliseconds after the hit. So the hit is full frequency and only the decay where there's the ring does it cut. Look at this. In this case, it's always cutting because the release isn't fast enough. But on places like this, very nice trick. And this clipper, I'll be honest with you, is only here so that this doesn't hit 0 and give me the red light. Just that. Just so that I don't see the fucking red light. So those are the plugins on the snare. Kick and snare sound like this right about now. Nice balanced impact. Let's see what the toms are sounding like. Ooh, where's the toms? So the toms, unprocessed, were sounding like this. They're very nice and bright already. They match our super processed kick and snare. I'm going to want to do to them is scoop them a little bit and saturate. Now they fit perfectly. So on the whole tom group, a big wide cut in the mids. That's the frequencies I don't want. And some brightness at 8K to make them nice and heavy metally. Can I Control Z that, please? For some reason I can't Control Z this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Then into the SSL, where again, that saturation, and this time only that saturation. So I'm only running it through here to give it the same character as the kick and snare, no EQ at all. And the saturation plugin is Saturn. So this is in warm tape mode at about 40% drive. Look at the difference. They're going to sound a bit flat without it. Without it, please. And when I turn it on, it's going to beef them up. They're a bit distorted, a bit messy, the way they need to be. Right now, we got this. Let's get cymbals into play. So cymbals sounding good. I want them to be a little bit more energetic and a little bit softer. Two plugins. Compressor, so DF Comp, this guy, again 50% mix because the overhead setting is very aggressive. It's just 35% of the total compression in 50% mix, but does it make a difference? Weak. Hitting harder. It's a difference. Compressing your overheads is the way you're going to make that drummer sound like he's hitting with passion. And my new friend, Soothe Boy, so this guy, Soothe, is what I'm using to tame the very, very harsh peaks of the cymbals. I used to do this, and I still do it sometimes if it's too harsh, with an EQ, just like that. Where's, can I, please? Thanks. So, Can you hear these EQ moves? So this is a way to do it, but it's a static way to remove them. It's always gone, this information now. But with Soothe, Soothe does it dynamically. You can see it move as you hit the cymbal. So it lets you retain some more important information, as well as it gets harsh stuff that you wouldn't have gotten yourself with the EQ, because you can't EQ all of this. This is infinite points. Here's what it's removing. Can you hear that harsh stuff? That's exactly what I want out of the picture. Perfecto. Now we need to bring this into a room. Not a big ass room like my GGD mixes, but something that makes this sound like a drum kit in a room. Nice. Pretty lively snare signal there. You know what I like to do? Squash it so that it can be loud but very, very controlled. Yes. So that is my friend DF compressor once again. Come in clutch with wait kick. Oh my god. I fucked it up. This is in kick mode. Wow. Okay, so I'll be changing this up, but for this mix, if you ever see this drum mix in a new video and I have sent you back to this one, by now I will have changed this to room. But here it's on kick mode. So it's literally like destroying the snare as if it were a kick drum with loads of low end. That's interesting. This is very interesting. Stupid loud, compressed and controlled. Wow, okay. That explains it, because after that, I put a limiter, because I was like, this still needs to be chopped off. It's because I was in kick mode. Curious, we're learning. At least now it sounds like it's in a room. And this plugin also gives you a secret parallel compression fader right out of the plugin that sounds super pumpy and energetic. I blend just a little bit of it in for the secret sauce. Nice, and now we gotta pump this up in the bus. I will be EQing the drums once again, but now with a very wide Pultec EQ. This is an EQ that EQs your low end, makes it bigger, and makes your high end bigger as well. So here's a boost at 100 Hz and a boost at 8K. This is gonna give my drums a very smiley face look. Flat. Smiley. The drum compressor, Joel Wanasek Bus Glue drums. This is here to make sure the snare sits right where it should, because I like to mix it very loud and bring it down with compressors. It's a specific sound. You hear? Hopefully my stupid motions make some kind of sense. This is where I cut the low end subs out of the kick drum. This scoop is negligible, but I like to do it here in the end on the drum bus, because if I do it on the kick, then it can react with the room signal. And here if I do it to both of them, there's no phase issues ever. and a limiter at 0.1 doing nothing just so that I don't see the fucking red light right there. That's it. Drum sound. Very, very nice. Let's move over to Baixo. Cool bass trick I can teach you. So these very thick parts, the beginning and end, are recorded not on the open E flat, which I tuned to, but on a 5th fret of the 5th string. And some parts that are more aggressive are on the open 4th string. Check out the difference. It's like two different instruments. The low string is way thicker and the high string is way more aggressive. So there's two different resources that you can use. Okay, first things first, EQing the DI a little bit, giving it more thickness in the subs. That tasty region, and just getting rid of a little spike that my pickup sometimes do when I mute the strings too fast. It's very technical, but you'll see. That's why I cut it here. This. If I leave it there, there's a little bit of that honkiness all the time. When I mute, it goes pring. Fuck that noise. Lassie Lambert Tone Hub Bass Classic Grind. Fucking thick as shit. It's so thick that I need to rearrange it so that the high end is way more present and the bass is way more controlled. And that's going to be with Joel Wanasek Boss Glue Bass. I am going to compress the low end and turn it down, and really compress the top end and bring it up. So check out this shift. It's a seismic shift, really. It's just rearranging the bottom and the top levels with this plugin, and it also gives it an obvious EQ curve, which I then accentuate with the final EQ curve, where I also turn the bass down because it was too loud, and I don't like using these faders. I like to use these faders for automation in the mix, so I like to keep them at 0. This EQ is just filters, so beneath 43 is just junk, and above 9K is just fizz, and this is a glorified big ass scoop at 300, really. So this noise reduced, and now it fits very nicely with the drums. And hopefully our guitars as well. Nice. So guitars, this is a tone I've been using a lot because I've been loving it. First things first, I EQ some honkiness out of the DI. This is my Omen 8 basswood guitar with stock pickups that are a bit muddy in this 200 region, so I get it out of the DI just before the plugin. Into Dan Korneff Tone Hub JCM 800. So you should try emulations of these Marshalls, because look at this. It's metal as fuck. And has this defined attack that's just delicious, delicious. Guitar EQ after that, I'm just looking to control low end most of all. So a filter up to 80 gets rid of the sub. Very big, beautiful, but unnecessary. Bass has that covered. And my palm mute control. So around anywhere between 100 and 200, I will put a dynamic EQ band that will turn down when palm mutes happen. In this song, palm mutes happen all the time. That's the fucking issue. So I gotta go in there, adjust the threshold so that it's barely hitting and only the largest palm mutes will be ducked. This bullshit. Hopefully you can hear with and without it. It's a night and day difference. Mid-range boost, negligible, just to make it match the bass a little bit more. Then, same philosophy as the drums. Compression for it to get nice and dynamically even. And then exciting. So the excitement here is this vitamin plugin by Waves. You can try any fucking saturation or even EQ after you're limiting that you'd like. But the reason I like this over EQ is that it reacts dynamically to the material. So I'm telling it to excite the high end a little bit. So let's go to this lead boy. This is Will Putney, stock amp 1 cab 1, stock sound. Give it to me, baby. It's MESHUGGAH. We need chorus on our leads. So this chorus I like to use is the very tiny little micro shift by Sound Toys. There's 3 flavors and a blend. So 50% on the blend. Now we're meshugging, right? Plate, 4 seconds of plate, 35% mix, and getting rid of low end. Now we got space, soothing, so taking care of the harsh mids. And a very important EQ. Without this EQ, it just pokes through a lot. You got to get rid of unnecessary low end. So 200 hertz and down is just boominess. And a very aggressive filter. Make it sound almost radio-like. That's what I like. And then this nice trick on the Fab filter, you can EQ just the mid channel. Now this is stereo, but there's information in the middle that you can play with. And if you boost there or cut there, your signal becomes stereo phasey magical. And this is located in the mid band center, and I am cutting mid-range there. You can hear it straight down the middle. And cutting this rumble from the mids makes it wider, which is a very, very cool trick with any EQ that has mid-side capabilities. My solo that I haven't played yet, because I'm doing this before I record the video and I need to do the solo live, is going to be basically the same tone, but It's going to be on cabinet 4, so it's going to be a very aggressive cabinet. I'll put it here. You could tell the difference there. And the EQ is not going to be so filtered, and there's no mid cut. So it's the same sound, but it's going to be wider, more open. That's the logic behind it. And then there is the crazy clean break. Nice pristine clean sound. Let's destroy it. So reverb, this is a free reverb, by the way, that you should get. Epic verb. What are we doing? 3 seconds hall reverb. High blend, kind of like 40%. Okay, cool, we're in a space already. Chorus, because we're MESHUGGAH, right? 20%, very little, but just enough to give it a swirl. Super important delay. Quarter note dotted. Tung, 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 tung. Dotted delay is what gives it this nice rhythmical bounce. Super important. And the only thing more important than the delay is the filtering. The way I'm getting these filters is with this Focusrite plugin, but you can do it with any old EQ. I just did it with this because I'm used to it. So I like it. Why? Because I put 100 here, and then I hit the X3 button and it just multiplies it. So I know I can get an easy radio sound without messing with these guys here, which can go so many different ways. Here I just move 2 knobs and that's it. It's the radio sound. There's a high pass filter up to 450 and a low pass filter down to 1.8. There's a double check on the low end one. Superstitious. I'm actually going to get rid of it to prove I'm dumb. And just some boominess out of the 300 area, because this is meant to sound very hollow and eerie. And that is le mix, guys. Basically. My master bus processing is the usual. I sadly can't show the limiter today because it's fucking destroying, but you know what I do with this. Cut off the kick and snare, good to go. But the EQ and dynamics processing, so Golfos is first. This magical guy is giving me extra low-end dynamic balance, so it cuts down on the kick boominess and boosts the bass boominess so that they're on the same level, and it gives a very nice high-end sheen all the time. If you can hear what I can hear, it makes the mix 1% better, and that's good. This is the big guy. He's working hard today, so bus glue mix. This is my bus compressor. This is the compressor that gets the whole mix fed through it, and it cuts down on the kick and snare so that the whole mix moves in volume when the kick and snare hit, and that's energy. Turning it on makes it louder, makes it more energetic. That's what master bus compression is all about. And here's a different flavor of it. So the same principle applies with this one, but this one has individual EQ bands so that it doesn't affect all frequencies the same way. It's only going to make some of them pump in the middle. That's what I usually want. This one, low mids, I like to control with this. Low end mostly unaffected. High end mostly unaffected. Mid range getting crushed. that's all the master bus processing on and off. You can tell this makes it just blow up to the stratosphere. And then the limiter fucking volume. Can't show you today because the computer craps out, but you can see it cut down the kick and snare so that the rest can be brought up. That is the mix. Oh god, I still gotta record this solo. I'm not gonna do the original thing. I'm gonna improvise in the vein of it. I'm gonna do an inspired thing. But this cover made me grow as a guitarist, as a content creator, and I hope you liked it and learned from this mixing tutorial. So thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.